The clock is ticking here in France to find out who will be the next prime minister. On Wednesday, President Emmanuel Macron announced his office would name someone within 48 hours. Sébastien Lecornu shocked the country when he resigned on Monday after just 26 days in the role. He stepped down the day after he had unveiled his cabinet, which was fiercely criticized as maintaining the status quo. Lecornu was the third French prime minister to leave office since December. The political uncertainty rivaled by the economic challenges. There has been deadlock over next year's austerity budget, and critics are demanding Macron call early elections. For more, let's speak to our reporter, Antonia Kerrigan, who is outside the Elysées Palace. Hello to you, Antonia. Tell us a little bit about what's happening this Friday.
Well, Emmanuel Macron has summoned the leaders of all of the political forces to the Elysées Palace this afternoon. That is excluding only the radical left France Unbowed and the far right National Rally. Jean-Luc Mélenchon of the France Unbowed said that his party was being spared what he described as a spectacle. The guests were invited in the small hours of the morning. And this is, of course, as Emmanuel Macron has heard Sébastien Lecornu's words from Wednesday, that the only majority in the National Assembly is against the dissolution of Parliament. So Emmanuel Macron intends to apply pressure on the various leaders to prevent that from happening and to reconcile their differences in that direction. That kind of pressure will likely be particularly potent this morning as the leaders wake up to polling that says that with current voting intentions, 36% of the electorate would vote a National Rally if elections were called tomorrow. Now, Emmanuel Macron may or may not put forward a name to the assembled company, which will be 11 guests, and see if and how the troops rally. That said, there are some irreconcilables in that room, and there'll likely be a bit of a row. The leftist parties present see the absolute necessity as the suspension of the 2023 pension reform in the next budget, whereas the right wing and centrists consider that an absolute red line, something they absolutely will not lend their votes to. On Wednesday, as you say, the Elysée gave itself 48 hours to come up with a solution to this. That runs out today. Of course, the deadline not particularly flexible as there is another deadline hard on its heels, and that is to get a budget on the desk of the National Assembly by Monday, if a budget has any hope of getting through by the end of the year.